Hi everyone, welcome to week 9 of our Comp 1 class. This week we're going to get started on writing project 3, which is a research-based paper in which you are going to answer a research question that you establish. A tip for this week, try to spend some time really contemplating your research question. Try to find something that is actually very interesting to you that will make writing this paper and conducting research a lot easier and will make it feel more rewarding. You need to make sure you read all the tasks in the module this week. You have discussion board posts due Wednesday and Friday, and then you should submit task 9.4 by Sunday. First up, task 9.1 is familiarizing yourself with writing project 3. I'm going to pause going through week 9 for a moment, and we're going to take a look at the assignment sheet for writing project 3. All right, so writing project 3, writing with research, exploring a question. We're going to be working on this weeks 9 through 13. It needs to be 1,500 words at minimum, but no longer than 1,900. That does not include your works cited page, and it is worth 25% of your final grade. Here we have a brief 2-minute video that provides an overview of the paper. I would recommend watching that. Here you will see a description of the purpose of the assignment. The purpose of this paper is to identify a question you care about, explore that question through research and reflection, and write about your findings in a genre that suits your rhetorical goals. Doing so will help prepare you for other writing, researching, and rhetorical decision-making tasks you'll encounter in college and beyond. In particular, this assignment is designed to give you further practice in writing critically, exploring others' ideas, and relating those ideas to your own. Help you gain a basic understanding of methods for finding, using, and documenting source material. Help you refine your writing processes, and give you further practice in creating a text appropriate for a particular audience and purpose. Here we have an overview of your task. Research begins with curiosity and inquiry. There's something the writer needs or wants to investigate, ponder, or learn about. For your third project, you'll investigate a question that's personally relevant to your life, a question you're genuinely curious about. You'll explore that question by reflecting on your own experiences and observations, and by researching sources related to your question. Eventually, you will synthesize your sources into a genre that works best for your rhetorical purposes. Through your research process, you might end up developing an answer to your question, even if just a tentative or speculative answer. You might even find multiple answers or no clear answer at all. Or you might find that your question just generates more questions. All of those possibilities are okay. This paper is exploratory. You do not have to have a definitive answer to your question. For best results in this paper, you should choose a topic that you are legitimately interested in, something you actually want to learn more about. You should not come up with a research question that you already have an answer to. This kind of paper works best if you are actually doing the research to develop your opinions rather than finding sources that just confirm what you already think about your topic. And we have some things to think about here when coming up with a research question. You might come up with something related to the papers that you've written in this course or things that we've talked about in the class. Excuse me. You might come up with a question related to current events, a question related to a problem or issue you're experiencing in your life, and a question related to your interests, hobbies, or career goals. Here we have descriptions of your audience, genre, and sources. You need to have 3 to 5 sources. But really, if you want to use more than 5, that's fine. But you need to aim for 3 to 5. The evidence that you'll be presenting in this paper, you're going to be talking about your own personal experiences and observations, and then you're also going to be incorporating other people's research into your paper in order to show your reader what your research has uncovered and to explore potential answers to your questions. Here we have a description of the process that you'll go through, as well as the criteria for success. And then you have the due dates here. You have a draft due for peer review Sunday of week 12, and a draft due for my review and final grade Sunday of week 13. Now that we have looked at that, let's jump back to our week 9 module. Task 9.2, you should do some readings from the textbook. Pages 183 through 184 are about choosing a topic. And then talking with Granddad, this is an essay in your textbook that you'll need to read in order to complete one of your discussion board posts for the week. Task 9.3 is your Wednesday week 9 discussion board posts. For this, you should take a look at that essay I just mentioned, Talking with Granddad. You're going to read that over, and then you're going to answer some questions about it. So Talking with Granddad is an example of a research paper. It is lightly researched. Actually, this is an example of someone who, even though this is in your textbook, this is a Writing Project 3 assignment. This is written by a Columbus State student. Something that they actually wrote for Comp 1. So it gives you a really good idea of what your project might look like. In your post, I'd like you to answer one or more of the following questions. What seems to be the research question that Brian is exploring? How does Brian go about exploring that question? What types of sources does Brian consult? How would you describe Brian's tone or stance in the piece? And does Brian do things you might want to do in your own Writing Project 3? And if so, what? If you do not have the 6th edition of the Norton Field Guide to Writing, you can do your post about the student draft by Molly in week 12 of the Success Gallery. Task 9.4, thinking about questions you could pursue for Writing Project 3. This is a brainstorming activity. Have some reminders here for the type of question you should be coming up with. Your topic should be of interest to you right now. It should be focused, but not too narrow. It should have some personal connection to your life. It should be answerable with the help of outside sources. And it should be something you haven't already answered or made up your mind about. With these things in mind, you have a couple of options here for brainstorming activities. I noticed that a page number was incorrect, so I've changed that. The correct pages are 183 through 184. Anyways, option 1 is to respond to these specific prompts. I'll let you read those on your own, but if you have any questions for me about what these prompts are asking you to do, feel free to let me know. And then option 2, like usual, is to do at least 2 strategies from your textbook. Remember, though, that I want to see you generate a substantial amount of text. So don't go with option 2 if you feel like it is the quick and easy way to do this assignment. I'm looking for about the same amount of writing from both option 1 and option 2. So for option 2, you will need to still produce maybe about a full page worth of writing. After using some of these strategies, think about all the topics you generated and decide which one interests you the most at this point, and then fill out the following. So at this point, I think I want to research blank because I want to better understand blank. Now try to restate your topic in the form of a question. And does your question generate more questions about this topic? Please write 2 to 3 other or related questions your topic brings to mind. Task 9.5 is making your Friday discussion board posts. For this post, I'd like you to answer the following. First of all, after completing at least some of the topic generating activities for this week, I'd like you to post a couple of the questions you came up with, preferably ones that you are actually interested in, ones you are actually considering writing about for this paper, and then explain why you are interested in them. For number 2, read through your classmates' posts and write responses to at least 2 of them. Explain which questions you think are most promising and why. Also, as you read through your peers' research questions, consider whether the questions meet the following guidelines, which are listed here. If you'd like, you can also comment on your classmates' posts from Wednesday. Did their posts help you see new things about the assigned readings, or do you have something else you'd like to comment on? That is all for this week for Comp 1. By Sunday at 11:59 p.m., you should submit all of the writing that you did in response to task 9.4, which is the brainstorming activity here. All right, now I'm going to move over to our 0199 class. This week, the main thing that we're doing is Reflections Assignment Workshop number 2. You may want to familiarize yourself with the Final Reflections assignment. To do that, you can take a look at the guidelines, which can be found over here, Final Reflections Assignment Guidelines. And then here are the instructions for the second workshop. And let me download this template so we can take a look at it. The last time we did one of these workshops, I had a number of people who typed up their answers on a separate document. You do need to use this template. You should type all of your work on this template. At the end of the semester, you'll be submitting all of the work that you've done for all 4 of these workshops, and that will essentially be your final in this class. We don't have a final exam. There's not a final paper you need to write. We're just working on this reflections assignment over the course of the semester. So the last time we did this in week 5, you should have done all this stuff color-coded red. For this week, we're doing workshop number 2. That's all the stuff color-coded blue. So for that, you're going to need to add 2 more technical terms. Remember that technical terms are any official vocab words that we have gone over in the class. So things like rhetorical situation, audience, purpose, media, stance, design, growth mindset, lens texts, really even any of the terms mentioned in your lens text. So things like cool pose, tough guys, objectification, any official or semi-official term or vocabulary word that we have covered in the course is fair game. You'll be also adding 2 creative terms. And remember that the creative terms are not official vocab words. These are things that are more personal to your own experience in the class. So things that in some way represent or symbolize your experience in Comp 1 in Fundamentals of College Writing. So it could be things like My Blue Pen, MacBook, or 2 a.m. writing sessions. When I was going over this assignment this week in my in-person classes, I mentioned how almost every time I come in and teach, I bring in a thermos full of coffee. So that's one of the terms that I would use if I were doing this assignment, is my coffee thermos. That kind of represents part of my experience with teaching these classes. Next, you're going to do the first part of this paragraph revision activity. In the second section here, you're going to copy and paste a paragraph you wrote for either Writing Project 1 or Writing Project 2. You're going to copy and paste that into this space right here. And then later on, in Reflections Workshop number 3, you're going to rewrite that paragraph using different words. The point of that is to kind of explore the way in which your word choice and language usage can change the meaning and the tone of a piece of writing. So for this week, you're just copying and pasting a paragraph, any paragraph from either Writing Project 1 or Writing Project 2 into the space here. In the future, you are going to rewrite the paragraph and reflect on it. But for now, just copy and paste a paragraph. To kind of give you a glimpse as to what that revision will look like, let me see here. So this is just a sentence. This obviously isn't a whole paragraph, but the original here, the red car drove down the highway, and then I've revised it to say the red convertible shrieked down the highway. This first one has kind of neutral language. This revision has a little bit more descriptive language, and it changes sort of the tone of the sentence a little bit. And then I wrote a reflection about how changing a couple of words impacted the meaning of my sentence. And then lastly, you are going to add to your letter to a future student. So in our first workshop, you should have written the first 100 words of your letter. Today, you're writing another 100 words to your letter. This can really be anything about your experiences in our 2 English classes. So talk about your study habits, things that you have been working on, your mindset as a learner, your confidence throughout the semester, things that have stood out to you the most, recommendations that you have to future students. There's a lot that is fair game here as long as you are, advising a future English student about your experiences. You will be submitting your workshop by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. And then, as per usual, you're going to make a discussion board post. This week's post is very simple. You're going to post what is your favorite creative definition to the discussion board. And that's all that you need to do. That is it for this week for fundamentals. If you have any questions, you want any help with anything, I'm more than happy to assist you. Just let me know, and I can address any questions or concerns you have via email, or we can set up a time to do a Zoom meeting or a phone call as well. I hope you all have a good week. Let me know if you need anything.